Prestige looks like a story about two rival magicians who will do anything to create the perfect illusion. Robert Angier and Alfred Borden spend years destroying each other's lives in a war built on jealousy, obsession, and revenge. But the movie has always been playing another trick on us. It doesn't simply hide the secrets of the characters. It teaches us to look in the wrong direction while giving us the answers almost from the beginning. Every time we think we understand the rivalry, another detail changes what we thought we were watching. And when the final pieces finally come together, the biggest surprise is not that the film fooled us. It's that we were warned about the truth over and over again. 1. The film tells you, the secret before you know there is a secret. The first major lie in The Prestige is the idea that the movie is asking us to solve a mystery that it keeps hidden. In reality, the film practically explains its own structure during the opening. Cutter describes the three parts of a magic trick: the pledge, where the audience is shown something ordinary; the turn, where something impossible happens; and the prestige, where the impossible is revealed. Nolan uses exactly the same structure for the entire movie. We are shown the rivalry, then the impossible transport trick, and finally the truth behind it. The movie isn't simply telling us a story about magic. It is teaching us how to watch the story. The problem is that we become so focused on discovering how the tricks work that we forget to question the assumptions we made about the characters. The answer is in front of us, but we keep searching for a more complicated explanation. 2. Borden's secret isn't a machine. It's a life shared by two people. For most of the film, Angier becomes obsessed with one question: how does Borden perform the transported man? The effect seems impossible because Borden appears to move from one side of the stage to another without explanation. Angier eventually becomes convinced that Borden has discovered some revolutionary technology, and his obsession becomes so intense that he spends enormous amounts of money trying to reproduce it. But the truth is much more brutal. There is no machine behind Borden's original version of the trick. Alfred Borden and Fallon are identical twins who have spent their entire lives pretending to be one man. They share everything, including the identity of Alfred Borden, even though that means sacrificing their individual lives. One brother can be married to Sarah while the other appears as her husband the next day, and neither can reveal the truth without destroying the illusion. That explains the strange contradictions Sarah notices when she says that sometimes Borden loves her and sometimes he doesn't. What seems like her instability is actually evidence that she has been living with two different men without knowing it. The film hides the answer in her own words long before the reveal. 3. Sarah was telling the truth, and the movie makes you think she wasn't. Sarah's relationship with Borden is one of the cruelest clues in the entire film. She repeatedly tells him that on some days he genuinely loves her, and on other days he doesn't. Borden dismisses her confusion because admitting the truth would expose everything. The audience is encouraged to interpret Sarah as emotionally unstable, insecure, or unable to understand her husband's personality. But she is actually the person who understands the situation best. She is reacting to the fact that there really are two Bordens. One twin loves her while the other is more emotionally connected to the performance and the secret. Sarah isn't imagining the contradiction. She is observing it. Her tragedy is that she keeps searching for a reason why the man she loves can become completely different from one day to the next, never realizing that the simplest explanation is the one nobody is willing to give her. When she finally takes her own life, it isn't because she failed to understand Borden. It is because she understood that something was terribly wrong and was never allowed to know what it was. 4. Angier's belief. That Borden knows a secret is what destroys him. Angier becomes so obsessed with Borden that he stops caring about anything except solving the mystery. After seeing the transported man, he cannot accept that another magician might simply be better than him. He needs to know how the trick works because, to Angier, the secret represents the difference between being remembered and being forgotten. His rivalry with Borden therefore becomes less about magic and more about identity. Every failure humiliates him, and every success by Borden feels like proof that he is inferior. That obsession eventually leads him to Tesla. Angier believes Tesla has created the machine that explains Borden's trick, and Tesla eventually builds a device capable of apparently transporting objects. But Angier never realizes that he has made a mistake in assuming Borden's secret must also involve a machine. Borden has sacrificed his identity to perform the trick. Angier sacrifices human lives. The irony is that Angier spends the entire film searching for Borden's secret while failing to understand that the real secret was simpler, more human, and much more painful. 5. Tesla didn't just give Angier a magic trick. He gave him a way to destroy himself. Tesla's machine is one of the biggest distractions in the movie because it appears to offer the scientific explanation Angier has been searching for. When Angier uses it, the result is exactly what he wanted. He can appear at one location and suddenly reappear somewhere else. But the machine has an unimaginable consequence. It doesn't simply transport Angier, it creates another version of him. One Angier appears at the destination while another remains behind. That means every performance forces Angier to create a new question that the audience doesn't see. Which version of him is the original? More importantly, the machine gives Angier a way to perform a trick that can only work if he is willing to kill. The tanks beneath the theater reveal the horrible cost of his obsession. Each drowned body is another version of Angier that existed only long enough to make the illusion possible. Borden's trick destroys a man's identity. Angier's trick destroys a man's life. And the deeper irony is that Angier believes his method proves that he has finally surpassed Borden, when in reality it proves that he was willing to pay a far greater price for the same result. 6. The diaries are designed to make you trust the wrong person. One of the most brilliant tricks in The Prestige is the way the diaries are presented. Angier reads Borden's diary, believing it contains the secret to the transported man, while Borden's diary leads us into the same trap from the opposite direction. Both men write as though they are revealing their deepest thoughts, but both are also performers. They know someone may read their words. The diaries therefore function like another stage. They contain truths, lies, emotional manipulation, and carefully chosen clues designed to control the person reading them. Angier believes Borden's diary is helping him understand his enemy, but Borden is actually leading him toward Tesla. Borden, meanwhile, can use his own writing to manipulate Angier's expectations. This is why the movie is so difficult to solve while watching it for the first time. We assume written words are evidence because diaries normally represent private truth. In this film, even the private thoughts of the characters can be part of the performance. 7. The two men are not really different from each other. For most of the film, Angier and Borden appear to represent opposite philosophies. Borden is the mysterious, self-sacrificing magician who refuses to explain himself. Angier is the ambitious showman who wants fame, applause, and revenge. But the deeper truth is that they are reflections of each other. Both become obsessed with creating the perfect illusion. Both sacrifice relationships. Both allow innocent people to suffer because of their rivalry. And both eventually become prisoners of the identities they created for their performances. The difference is not that one man is willing to sacrifice and the other isn't. Both are willing to sacrifice almost anything. Borden sacrifices his individuality and his relationship with Sarah. Angier sacrifices his humanity and repeatedly kills versions of himself for applause. That makes the rivalry far more tragic than a simple battle between hero and villain. Neither man is really winning. They are simply becoming more damaged versions of themselves while convincing the audience that the next trick will finally make everything worthwhile.